Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really wild supply chain mystery. We're going to break down a highly counterintuitive real-world case study from INNORHINO that perfectly captures how trying to save literal pennies on cardboard can accidentally cost a company thousands. We'll be looking closely at how packaging dimensions entirely dictate your final logistics costs and the sneaky reason why a lower unit price on packaging might actually cause your total expenditure to just completely skyrocket. Let's get right into it. $5,950. Keep that number in your head for a minute, because this isn't some theoretical math exercise, This is the actual, real-world freight penalty that an e-commerce brand got hit with on a pretty small production run. And the craziest part? They triggered this massive loss while actively trying to save money. So, you gotta wonder, how on earth does saving 35 cents on a simple box lead to a $5,950 disaster? It completely violates basic business logic, right? If you buy something cheaper, you should absolutely save money. But, as we're about to see, when it comes to e-commerce fulfillment, looking at your packaging invoice in total isolation is a really dangerous game. Let's start with Section 1, the cheap packaging illusion. Okay, picture an e-commerce brand named Ever So Charming. They needed 700 shipper boxes for a festive advent calendar, and they needed something built for the U.S. fulfillment network that would keep the product completely flat and undamaged. Their procurement team had two choices. Option A was an off-the-shelf Amazon stock carton for about $1.50 per unit. Option B was an INNORHINO custom-fit carton for $1.85. Now, if you're sitting in that meeting and just comparing unit prices, it's a total no-brainer. The stock option seems like a clear win for the budget. And the math seems to back it up. You save 35 cents a carton, multiply that by 700 units, and you've got a clean $245 saved on that initial invoice. It goes straight onto the spreadsheet, management loves it, and it feels like a textbook example of good cost control. And hey, to be fair, stock cartons are very often the right call if you need speed or just have low volumes. But in this specific instance, locking in that initial savings actually set off a pretty catastrophic chain reaction. Which brings us to Section 2, the hidden freight trap. So the problem wasn't the material quality of that cheaper box. It was literally the empty air inside of it. The custom carton, because it was designed specifically for the product, was 16 by 12 by 3 inches. The cheaper stock carton was 18 by 12 by 6 inches. Notice that last number. The fatal flaw was that extra 3 inches of height on the stock carton. Stock boxes are meant to fit a bunch of different things, so they inherently have extra space. Down in the warehouse, maybe that's just a minor annoyance, but out in the domestic parcel network, that empty space is highly billable. And here is where it all fell apart in the shipping platform. Those extra 3 inches of height bumped the package into an entirely different dimensional weight tier. The custom 3-inch high box rated as a 4-pound shipment. That would run $21.28 for USPS Priority Mail. But the taller 6-inch stock box? It got rated as an 8-pound shipment, which spiked the cost to $29.78. The package didn't actually get any heavier in physical mass, but the carrier is charging for the dead air taking up premium space in their truck. You're always paying for the footprint, not just the physical weight. Let's look at the actual damage in Section 3, the true cost revealed. Let's walk through the exact math for the whole run. By going with the stock carton, sure, the brand saved $245 up front, but that shipping penalty? That was $8.50 per individual shipment. So you multiply that $8.50 penalty by the 700 shipments, and you are looking at $5,950 in added freight exposure. If they had just bought the lower profile custom carton, they would have spent $245 more upfront, but avoided nearly $6,000 in shipping fees. So the final net impact? $5,705 more expensive. The cheaper box didn't save a dime. It literally just took the cost off the packaging invoice and multiplied it straight onto the shipping label. It's a perfect example of why chasing the lowest unit price on cardboard can absolutely obliterate your total logistics budget. Section 4. Why disconnects cause losses. You have to ask, how does a smart business fall into a trap this big over a cardboard box? Well, the root cause isn't actually dimensional weight. It's structural. It's a siloed workflow. Think about it. Procurement compares prices and buys the cheapest box. Design adjusts the packing material to fill the new gaps. Operations packs it up based on those new dimensions. Logistics buys the labels. And finally, finance pays the massive carrier bill way after the fact. The disconnect happens because no single department is looking at the total combined cost. Procurement gets a high five for saving money, logistics just pays the going rate, and finance takes a mysterious, brutal hit to the profit margin. So let's fix that. Section 5. Making better packaging decisions. Here are your golden rules to avoid this exact pitfall in your own supply chain. Number 1. Calculate your final packed dimensions, the outer shipping box size, not the product itself. Number 2. Run that through your shipping platform to check the expected rated freight weight. Number 3, and this is absolutely crucial, do this before anyone signs a purchase order for the boxes. Oh, and finally, don't just blindly shrink your boxes. You still have to maintain structural protection. Or you're just trading freight savings for damaged returns. It is all about finding that perfect balance. The INNORHINO case study hit the nail on the head with this realization. The value wasn't in making the box custom. The value was in making the shipment right correctly. It was never about having some fancy bespoke box, you know? It was 100% about understanding the full freight bill before making a purchasing decision. Spending a tiny bit more upfront to optimize your logistics profile is just flat-out smart business. So I'm going to leave you with this thought to chew on. When was the last time you checked the actual shipping profile of your cheapest box? Are you really saving money, or are you just shifting a massive invisible expense onto your shipping labels? Take a hard look at your own supply chain. Connect your procurement and logistics data and make absolutely sure your cheapest box isn't secretly your most expensive mistake. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy optimizing.